Hi everybody, my name is Jim with the Full Moon Adventure Club, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Mr. Heater Little Buddy. This is a portable propane heater, and basically when you look at the pictures of it, it looks really small, but when you get the actual unit, it's actually pretty decent size. Looks like a very, very large cup of coffee. But so it's a little bigger than I thought it was going to be, but still very much portable and very small compared to the Big Buddy series that I also have. So Mr. Heater is nice enough to send this down for me to check out, and I've had a lot of fun playing around with it for the last couple months. And actually, my favorite thing to use this for is just kind of heating your hands up when everybody's outside and you're sitting around your patio table out there and the sun's starting to go down, it's getting a little dark. If my mom's visiting or my girlfriend or anything is getting kind of cold, this is very easy to bring on out, hook up to a 1-pound propane cylinder, and it puts out a lot of heat that's just going to kind of come out the front and kind of go up. So it's perfect in between our chairs. We can warm up our hands on it and stuff like that. It does have a tip over feature, so if it gets knocked over, it's going to turn off for you. And it also has a low oxygen sensor, so if you're using it in a small space and you burn the oxygen out of the room, it's going to shut down at a safe level as well. So they're very safe for indoor use. I do believe you're supposed to have a little bit of ventilation with these, but you could even use this in a tent, I'd say, pretty safely. Now, with a couple things that I wanted to go over difference-wise from the Big Buddy compared to this Little Buddy series, I'm going to go ahead and show you a picture of them side by side so you kind of get an idea of the size comparison. This little guy right here is actually 11 inches by 11 inches by 11 inches. So pretty much just like a 1-foot cube of space is what that's going to take up. And then of course you also have your stand and the 1-pound propane cylinder that you're going to attach to it. So I'm going to go ahead and put up a picture that kind of shows them side by side, both hooked into a 1-pound propane tanks here. I'll put that up for you. So you can see it actually does save you a lot of space when it comes time to store it if you're going to be doing traveling or, in car camping or anything like that, and you need to save some space. It's definitely a lot easier if you're going to be using, say, a van in an RV situation with a Class B or anything like that. That's going to come in very handy for you. It'll heat. The square footage that it's rated for is about 100 square feet. It says 95 square feet. And I actually set up a time lapse in this room because I wanted to see how long it would actually last on a brand new store-bought propane canister. And I also wanted to see if it would heat this room at all, even though the room that I did this test in is actually closer to 200 square feet. And so it was double what it was rated for. So not really rated for a room of this size, my green screen area. But it actually did raise the temperature pretty well. Now I put a thermometer at the top near the ceiling because I know heat rises and that's probably going to be a little warmer up there. And then I also put the display, which is what is going to be on camera. That has a built-in thermometer as well. So that's going to be at this level right down here at table height. And so I think those two temperature variances will give us a good idea that it was doing pretty well. It didn't raise the temperature a lot in here because it's double the square footage it's supposed to heat, but it did do the job. And the main thing that we were trying to test was how long it was going to last. So let's jump out to the time lapse right now and kind of check that out and see how well it did on a brand new 1-pound propane tank. Okay, so starting at 12:33 and at about 68 degrees, we're going to turn this guy on and let it run. And it does start to raise the temperature a lot faster on the remote thermostat that was up, thermometer that was up near the ceiling, because of course all that heat's going to rise. And this is a pretty big room, so it's going to fill that space. But over the time and over the hours that it's running here, it does take up the temperature in the entire room, which is double the square footage that it's supposed to handle. So I was impressed with that. We're getting up to like 75 near the ceiling and 72 here on the table. So it's doing the job pretty well. But the main thing that we really want to test here is how long it actually lasts. And what we end up with is I'm doing a time lapse here and I'm taking a picture of minutes so we can just kind of add all that up or do the math from our clock there. But what we're going to end up with is about 6 hours and 48 minutes. And we end with 77 degrees and 73 degrees down here on the table, which is really impressive for considering how big this room is. So very nice. Okay, so there you go. With the time lapse, after we reviewed the footage, this lasted for 6 hours and 48 minutes. And online at the Mr. Heater website, they say at a max it's going to last 5.5. So it outperformed the specs that they had online, which is great. It lasted a really long time. Take a couple of store-bought tanks with you if you really want to make it through, longer than 6.5 hours or 5.5, depending on the variables. But that's going to get you through a night of camping and keep you nice and toasty warm, so I really like that. Let's check out the basic operation real quick, and then we'll wrap everything up. Okay, so it did really well. As far as the unboxing goes, I'm not going to do one because there's only two things that come in the box, and that's the little buddy and the stand. So pretty self-explanatory. All the directions you need to operate it are right here by the button. But I will show you how to go ahead and fire this little guy up. It's very, very easy. Take your 1 pound propane canister and line up the threads so you're not cross-threaded or anything. Then we're just going to screw that guy on there, nice and tight. And you take your base and you set it in there nice and snug, and you're all set. Then what we're going to do is take this red button that's right here, and we're going to just press that down and look inside. We have to give it a click or two, get that propane flowing in there, and then I see a little pilot lights going on. Let that run for about 5 seconds, 10 maybe. If it goes out, you have to try again, but then you release the button and that's it. She's turned on. I'll just move that right over here. And we will give it a couple minutes to get glowing, nice and red and hot, so you can tell that that's going on. Okay, so after a few minutes of letting it heat up, you can kind of tell that it's red. I know there's a lot of light in here. It's not glowing great, but it is working and it is putting out a lot of heat. It's fantastic for warming up your hands. And to turn it off, there is just a black button on the side here. That's here's your red starting button, and then here's your black button. You just push that, that's going to turn it off. But of course, it also does have the anti-tip feature, so when I tip it, you see the pilot lights on in there and it's glowing red, and then boom, turns right off, turns everything off. So nice and safe, nice little heater, and let's go to the wrap up on this. So there you have it, very, very cool little heater. The differences between this and the Big Buddy heater that I also have and have really loved using over the years is that basically this guy's going to be on one setting. It only has one setting. You turn it on and you turn it off, and it's going to put out 3,800 BTUs. And the Big Buddy on its lowest setting puts out 4,000 BTUs, so it's about the same there. But then the Big Buddy can also do 8,000 or let's see, I think it's 9,000 and then 18,000 BTUs as well. So it's great for bigger applications, bigger rooms, bigger areas. But I've noticed that all of my company and anybody that wants to use this thing has been really preferring the Little Buddy for here around the house when they're outside and they want to warm up their hands. We're all outside talking around the table. The girls immediately go to this guy just because it's really simple to operate. It's very lightweight. And it works really good for warming up your hands, just one person. So if somebody's kind of cold, you plop it down, you push the button, and boom, it's just as simple as that. So they've really been enjoying using it, so have I. And I still like my Big Buddy as well because it handles the bigger stuff. And if you have a group of people or a room you want to heat up, it's going to do it a lot quicker. But this guy performed just like it said it would. And I wanted to do this video to give you an idea of how big it is, the size and the dimensions. So it's a lot easier to store. And it does work for exactly what it says it'll do. Smaller applications and around 100 square feet, warming your hands, all that good stuff. It's a really nice heater. I will put a link in the description below if you want to go over to Mr. Heater and check it out. Buy one, pick up your own. And special thanks to Mr. Heater for sending me this so I could do the review for it. It's very nice of them, and I definitely have enjoyed using it. So go over there, give them some love, check it out, and if you're going to buy a heater, I recommend them. They're both working great, and so far so good. So if anything ever comes up, I'll revisit the video, but until then, everything's working great. My name is Jim with Full Moon Adventure Club. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. It really helps me out. And until the next video, thanks so much for watching, and happy camping.